Was not prepared to make this announcement today. Maybe I should have been a little bit um, had a little more foresight. But many of you probably know the news. Literally just hours ago, minutes ago, 22 minutes ago. It is now 2:10, so it must have been about 1:48 p.m. Eastern. Um, Joe Biden has dropped out of the race. I will repeat, Joe Biden has dropped out of the race. Um, Let me give it just a minute and I will read the statement from Biden just to catch everybody up in terms of the news we saw over the weekend. Biden was pissed, it was reported. He was feeling betrayed, not the least of which by Obama on some level. Sort of inevitable. If the guy doesn't want to go, he's going to feel that way. I don't know how you end up being a president or a presidential candidate for that matter if you don't think that you are God's gift to the planet. And so there was a lot of going back and forth. It was reported that Nancy Pelosi wanted to also get Harris off the ticket. We shall see. But what's going to happen. But I'm going to wait until we hit just about another couple hundred people, and then I will read the statement from Joe Biden again today at 1:48 p.m. Eastern. This is real. This is real. This is real. Statement from Joseph Biden Jr. It was interesting. It was the statement is not on a presidential letterhead, which is interesting to me. I think it's just he wanted to make it personal in that respect. Joseph Biden Jr., July 21st, 2024. Again, this dropped at exactly 1:48 p.m. Eastern. My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, and in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We've provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances, passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first African American woman to the Supreme Court, and passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We've protected and preserved our democracy, and we've revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. Again, I am reading a statement put out by Joe Biden at 1:48 p.m. Eastern on Twitter, on Instagram, et cetera, et cetera. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president. And one thing I should just note, and I know this is a little bit pedantic, they've started a lot of sentences with "and." Yeah. And while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work. And let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust you have placed in me. I believe today what I always have, that there's nothing America can't do when we do it together. We just have to remember we are the United States of America. I almost choked up. I mean, there it is, folks. We've been talking about it for 2 or 3 weeks. The pressure just became intense. Couple of things I have noticed from the statement that I'm sure you probably have too, but it takes me so long to figure out how to go live on this thing that I might as well just keep talking for a little bit. One is he is going to remain president. He's going to fulfill his term. Two is he does not endorse Harris. We have no notion of what the next steps are here. Now, over the past couple of days, you saw AOC come out, ring the bell, and different people interpreted that statement differently. My interpretation was, because she kept saying over and over again during that stream, I'm not here to argue if you think that Biden should step down or not. What she was there was to say, warning, they're looking to get rid of Harris as well. And by they, she meant donors, establishment, Democrats, et cetera, et cetera. They all have their favorite horse. There was some reporting I saw over the past couple of days saying that Pelosi wanted Gavin Newsom. I've also seen some reporting that Newsom and Whitmer have both said that they're not interested. Biden just endorsed Kamala. Well, then forget what I just said. Is that true? Has he endorsed? He just endorsed? That's what people are telling me. If that's the case, that's obviously a I mean, okay, yes, he has. So he just tweets out just 4 minutes ago, about 20 minutes after his speech, to my fellow Democrats, I've decided not to accept the nomination and to focus all my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president, and it's been the best decision I've made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this. That's pretty huge. And the first, at least on mine, the first tweet I see after that is end wokeness. And I don't know if it's the case, but I think someone said the other day that it was Jack Posobiec. Screw the 14 million primary voters who cast their ballots for you. Am I right? They're bummed because the most small d Democratic move that the Democrats could make would be essentially to have Harris be the nominee. I don't know if Harris would be my first pick, but frankly, of all the people who are out there, I'm not sure if any of them would be my first pick who are eligible. But it's certainly the most democratic. It's also the cleanest and the most seamless. And also the one that ensures that the apparatus that's already been built is already there. So now the big question becomes, who is going to be the vice presidential nominee? Because I find it hard to believe that the Democrats are going to, they may do a nominal open convention thing, but there's not going to be any primaries or debates that are hosted by Oprah or Taylor Swift, or I've just run out of all the cultural names I know. George Clooney, Madonna. No. Anyways, the point is that it's all but inevitable that Harris is going to be the nominee. And who she picks for VP, some of the names that we've talked about, I think Emma has probably invested heavily on trade sports on Roy Cooper. I'm joking, of course. But Roy Cooper, Andy Bashir, I think is a very good choice, just in terms of like balancing out the ticket. Somebody who I don't know how much time he has left as governor of Kentucky. Um, I think it's also conceivable you'll see someone like maybe like Murphy from Connecticut, because you want someone with a foreign policy experience, maybe. Um, Cooper from North Carolina is a possibility. Some people have said Doug Jones, former senator from Georgia. I don't think you'll see someone like Pritzker or Whitmer or a Newsom or anything like that. Although it's possible, but I doubt it. They're good governors, and I for one wouldn't want them to be gone from those positions. Mayor Pete has been out there for sure. I don't know. I'm going to tell you right now that while I've been doing this, I've gotten text after text after text of just people so excited. Mark Kelly, somebody suggested that's possible. I see my name up there that people are suggesting. I'm going to say right now, I mean, if asked, I'd probably do it. It would be awkward to say no, but I just don't think I'm in the running. But the bottom line is this is going to dramatically change the race. And we've talked maybe too much over the past couple of weeks about the different liabilities that Harris has as a candidate. We have, she's never been the greatest orator. She's not necessarily the most charismatic. But she's also been a vice president for 3 years. I think she has better relationships with labor than people know. Obviously, there's people, when they first think of Harris, some people have said, like, I'm worried. Misogyny and racism is still a pretty big thing in this country, if you hadn't noticed. They don't say that to me. I mean, I know. And I think that's a concern. But I will also say this, the flip side of that is that the conservatives, the Republicans, the right, you can always count on them to overplay their hand because they don't talk to normal people. And you're going to see a significant portion of them talk about her as a DEI candidate. They'll pivot quickly to say she's not qualified, even though she's been vice president for the past 3 years, which will be a sort of a dog whistle to DEI, which of course is a dog whistle. She's a woman. She's a woman of color. That comes with a lot of risks for them that I think they don't have the ability to perceive, at least quickly, which is, people don't like outward displays of racism. I shouldn't say all people, but even people who I think practice white supremacy, and to some extent we all do, but even those who, might practice it a little more than others, I think they feel uncomfortable with outward displays of racism. And I think the Republicans have to be very, very careful, and they won't be because they're not capable of it because they don't realize how they sound to normal people. So we'll see. It will not be Yang, I can assure you. It will not be Yang, and it will not be Bloomberg. So this is where we're at. I think Joe Biden now has, like, can be unleashed to attack Trump. Um, he can, be out there to espouse the really positive things that the Biden Harris administration has done. I think Harris is going to be. This is bad news for Bibi Netanyahu. I think Harris is definitely to the left of Biden on Israel Palestine because, frankly, everyone in the Democratic Party is, for the most part. Shapiro may be the only one who was even in this conversation who wouldn't be. So that's good news on that front. She will name a vice presidential running mate within the next couple of weeks. I would imagine it'll be announced right before the convention. Super exciting, folks. Super exciting because I think everybody now has a sense of like, Democrats can win this now. And if you look at those Senate numbers and you contemplate, like, what are those numbers going to look like if those numbers hold? And Harris is bringing maybe younger people out or just bringing other Democrats out. This is going to be a big deal. This is going to be a big deal. So I'm probably going to sign off and send Emma the login so she can do a video as well, because I have a feeling she's very, very excited right now. All right, folks. So stick around because I have a feeling Emma's going to come on in about 5 minutes. I don't know how anybody could say that Harris has no chance. I mean, the polling is the polling. I frankly think that a generic Democrat is, and not only, I want to keep just one more thing. You look at the polling that Harris has had, understand she has had those numbers, and all of them had those numbers without being a candidate, without being able to do anything positive. All right, make any type of positive argument. Anyways, folks, wait, are people talking about my hairline? Okay, Emma's going to be on, I think, shortly. We will be here tomorrow. Bye-bye. Let me just pause for one moment to make it seem like I'm being thoughtful and just trying to remember how to turn this off. So.